I kind of just winged it for the first like 7 or 8 years. I was winging being a builder.
Yep.
I hadn't worked for a builder really. I hadn't sort of seen how other builders operate. So you make all those mistakes. You have many of years where you're like, shit, I didn't make money. What did I do wrong?
Yeah. Welcome to the Build Insight podcast. Real people, real insights. Step into the world of innovative construction, one conversation at a time.
Today's guest is Emile from SV Built, starting out his career in the steel industry to then constructing a few developments with his dad. Emile developed a passion for building and saw an opportunity to create his own legacy through SV Built.
All right, Emile, thanks for coming in today, buddy. Pleasure to have you in the Build Insight studio. From my understanding, you've been on maybe 1 or 2 podcasts beforehand, but it's a pleasure to get you on here either way. For the listeners that don't know you, obviously, I've had the pleasure of knowing you through not just as a local builder here, but through the future builder community as well. Give us a bit of an intro on yourself, mate. Your journey into building isn't probably more of the traditional way with a carpentry apprenticeship background or anything like that. Introduce yourself, mate. Tell us who you are, how you got here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Luke. So my name's Emile from SV Built. As you said, it wasn't the traditional way of getting into building. I sort of, I was in a steel fab background to start with. My dad had a steel business, so I was supposed to go to uni after school, but I deferred that to go work in the business and never went back. And then, I sort of always had a bit of a love for building things, always had projects on the go. I eventually started just renovating a house on the side as well while I was still working. Late nights trying to learn as much as I could. And then my dad wanted to do a couple of developments here and there. So we got some good local builders to sort of start doing that. And I sort of was a bit project managing that on the side for him. And then it just got to the point where one day I was like, well, why don't I have a crack? Why don't I build one for you and see how it goes from there? So that was my step into it. Like I'd played around with a lot of building and renovating before that. I learned off of a lot of sort of good trades, good family friends that were sort of been in the industry for a long time. And they sort of taught me everything they knew. And I just kept on learning as much as I could off of everyone.
Yeah.
And then, I sort of went into it that way. We built one development together that was quite successful and built another one. And then people sort of started asking me if I could build their house for them and kind of snowballed from there, really.
Yeah. Yeah. In those early days of when your dad was starting out and you were doing a bit of the project management, who was, what point was it that you went and got your builder's license?
When I decided to start building them for him is when I went and got my builder's license.
Gotcha.
Because Dad was from a sort of steel fabrication background, and we'd built a couple warehouses and offices for the business previously, like a long time ago.
Yep.
So I also helped project manage those from the client side of things, but I was quite involved with the builder, so I was just trying to learn as much as I could as we went. I set off and went through the process of getting my builder's license, study and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then went from there.
I'm curious actually, because I'm a carpenter by trade, kind of had the Cert 3 of carpentry as the background, but where do you start without having that qualification? I'm not saying you had nothing at all. Obviously, the experience is probably more than anything. What was the first point about how you went about getting your builder's license?
So like you said, I'd been in and around construction for a long time prior to that, and I'd just been learning everything I could, and a lot of hands-on, like renovated my own house and helped other people renovate houses and things like that. But then I suppose when I realised I need to get my builder's license was when you sort of look into what you got to do and did the Cert 4 in building construction and supervising.
Night school?
Yeah.
What you did during the day?
I did, it was night school, but I crammed it in as quick as I could. Yeah, so I did it sort of, I can't remember, maybe 6 months or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then, got a bit of experience with some other people and, sat that technical interview and finally got my license and off we went.
I'm curious actually, because I know they're really knuckling down on, being quite strict on the interview now. How'd you find your interview?
Yeah.
Was it like a couple of hours, a short one? You had a heap of maybe some, like a bit of a portfolio you took in with you? Or?
For over 130 years, Bowen's has been the builder's choice, providing a service that provides timber, hardware and innovative building products.
And now we're helping you further with this wonderful partnership.
We're proud to announce Ellens as our new premier sponsor, bringing you more of the insights that you love. Build insight together with Ellens.
Real people,
Real insights.
Yeah, so back then, it took me twice to get my license. The first time I went in just with the mindset that I'd learned how to build better, well above the standard, and sort of just explained how I did things.
Yep.
And I realized, well, he made it clear that that's not what they want. They want to know that you know the minimum standard and can recite the building code. So then I was like, all right, I went off and just studied the building code inside and out. And just went back and I think within the first 5 or 10 minutes, I sort of knew what I was on about, and it was a pretty quick one after that.
What did you find in that transition period, I suppose? What is there anything that you saw as your biggest challenge?
Started building.
Yeah.
Learning everything.
Just learning. Yeah.
Kind of, I find the best way of learning is just doing.
Just doing it.
Yeah, you got to make mistakes.
Yep.
But if you just sort of surround yourself or just, ask a lot of questions of people that really know what they're doing and absorb everything, and just accept the fact that you don't know how to do everything. You need to learn, and you'll forever be learning. You never know 100%.
Yep.
So I just went in with that mindset, just going, all right, there's a problem. I've got to learn how to get around it or fix it or make this 100%.
Yep.
And just went from there.
That's so powerful. I know I'd try and drill that into my guys on site as well, is the difference between when a problem arises is getting fixated on the problem or seeing it as a challenge that you can work around. Like, so many people will just go into a hole and just be like, oh, why has this happened? And try and find out exactly what went wrong with it and just get fixated and can't move past it. But it's accepting the fact that there is a challenge in front of you. Something may have gone wrong. Right. That is now out of our control. We can't change the fact that it's happened. What's the best way that we can move forward and learn from it now?
Yeah, exactly. And you learn from every job, and you learn from your mistakes. And that was always a mindset that I took into building, was you kind of, you're going to have problems, but I enjoyed solving the problems. That's sort of one of my strengths, was always problem solving.
Yep.
And I think that's what I enjoy about it now. Like, if you're building the same house again and again, when you're not learning, I don't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
So I kind of like a challenge every job.
Yep. Oh, cool, man. Early days of SV Built. So SV Built, you're obviously the director. I would say that you guys are more of the luxury home builders. Whether you want to put yourself in the bracket of luxury home or not, that's up to you. Tell us about, what is SV Built? What do you do? The early days of SV Built. Give us some insight onto who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going on nearly 11 years now, and we saw a sort of a bit of a gap in the market for, like, well, obviously my dad started with wanting to do some high-end developments. And back then I feel like there wasn't as many quality builders. So that's why I think it was quite easy for us to get going. And our focus was just purely on quality and make sure the job was 100%. No, like, leaving anything unfinished, or if you're not happy with something, you go back and you fix it, sort of thing. So that's how we started. That was our mentality, and we still run with that mentality to this day, with a lot of other aspects thrown into it. But that's sort of where we started the business, and that was our direction and our we didn't really have goals. When I say we, I didn't really have goals back then. My dad had the goal of building some successful developments, which really worked. But on the building side for clients, I just enjoyed taking on their journey with them, their vision, all the challenges that comes along with building some pretty technical high-end houses.
So did your dad have any involvement besides, obviously, the passion for wanting to do some developments in the early days, but SV Built was started by you, and your dad was just kind of there for a bit of advice and stuff?
Yeah, I was lucky he helped out, obviously, with the asset side of things, with, insurances and everything. He was there to get me off the ground in that regard. but yeah, regarding construction, he didn't have much to do with the
Yep.
construction at all. Yeah, so I come from the building mindset, and he come from the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had it was great having someone who's run businesses over the years
That's-
as
I
someone
was-
to.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that actually. That would be a pretty cool, even though it's a slightly different industry, steel fab versus building. Business is business at the end of the day. There's still numbers, there's still people, everyone kind of has the same problems, just slightly different levels and things like that. So that would have been
Yeah, I mean, the steel business was quite a big one, and I think it was like 70, 80 employees at the end
Wow.
of the day. Yeah,
Okay.
so
The fuel prices might be going out of control. That's why our first ever Build Insight live event is free.
Our first ever live event. We're collaborating with Bowens and Circa. We're going to be at Port Melbourne Thursday, the 23rd of April from 2 to 5 p.m.
We're going to be recording live podcasts with Q&A from the audience.
Industry-leading suppliers with innovative building products.
The latest building tech, we'll have it there.
Tactical insights that you can apply immediately to your business.
Build Insight was built on networking. We're going to create the space for everyone to connect.
I've got to stress, this is a free event, but spots are limited, so don't miss out.
I come from quite, I wouldn't say big business, but yeah, bit above small business sort of thing.
there's a fair few personalities in that.
Yeah,
That one.
and I was there for eight, maybe 9 years, I think.
Yep.
So I knew the business inside and out, and it definitely gave me a head start on the business side of things. So going into building, all I had to focus on was building, basically.
Yeah.
Obviously, over the years, I've learnt my shortfalls of business and made all the mistakes. And now, obviously, how I run a business is very different to when I started.
Yeah.
But it was a good head start, I
Yeah,
suppose.
for sure. Just thinking back to the very early days, what did the first year of SV Built look like?
It was great fun. Learned a ton. I think we made a couple of losses for the first few years, so didn't make any money. But yeah, you kind of write all that off as experience.
Yeah.
Experience in building a reputation.
Yeah. What were some of the biggest things you learnt in those early days?
Oh, how to sort of, work out your margins. Scheduling is a big one in construction. Just working out how to schedule, and relationships, like building is relationships.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
So building a lot of good relationships early on with our trades, and there's a lot of give and take as well. So you sort of you got to ask for favors to get things done, but you also sort of got to give favors as well. So it's a big balancing act.
Yep. What is I want to dive into a little bit about your projects. Is there any standout projects that you've kind of had over the years, or more of the specifics of exactly what type of homes you build? Like, do you guys do some renos as well, or mostly new homes, or?
Yeah. So we've done some renos as well. It's probably split maybe 30% renos, 60% new builds.
Yep.
I love renos as long as it's the right client. We can take the time to do it properly. They got the budget to do it properly.
Yep.
Then renos are great. When it's a tight budget, that's when renos become difficult.
It's really difficult.
Yeah. I love the character homes. We've done a couple of real good character renos over the years, and just sort of honouring that 100-year-old heritage.
Yeah.
And making sure you build it how it was, like continuing with conventional roof framing, redoing all the mouldings exactly how it was, and hard plastering and things like that. We love doing that, but it comes at a cost, and
Definitely.
you really need a client that's dedicated to do that.
Yeah. So it's very rewarding though, isn't it, to look back at it and just know that, what, like you mentioned, like what was built 100 odd years ago, and trying to continue that same building style through, even though what we've learnt over the past few years, it might not perform the best, but it's nice to try to, give it that new life and continue what how it started.
Definitely. And I mean, naturally they performed kind of better back then anyway. They had smaller windows, they had verandas, they had all the stuff that we're slowly working out that we've got to bring back into our design. So apart from always being cold, the old character houses, they were pretty good through summer. But and a lot of highly efficient extensions on it as well. So it's hard to make the old part of the house very efficient. But if you can sort of counteract that with going beyond with the extension, then it sort of helps the whole project.
Yeah.
And then new builds, we've had some great new build projects over the years. We've done some developments for clients. We had some awesome custom builds. We've won a few awards for them, and yeah, they were just great projects, great clients.
Yeah.
Lots of
Come on,
challenges.
give us a shout out. What are the awards?
We got custom built home in its category. It was a few years ago. We've won spec home of the year a couple of times now. Townhouse, a few bathroom awards, a couple of outdoor project awards. So
Well done.
there's a few under the belt, which is good.
Better make sure that that's added into the intro with a major award-winning builder as well.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thinking more into the custom home side of it, I suppose. What are your clients specifically looking for in a custom home builder?
We are absolutely thrilled to announce that Circus Studio are coming on board as a major sponsor and supporter of Build Insight. Circus Studio is Australia's leading interior design centre. If you're an architect, building designer, interior designer, builder, or just looking to build your dream home, you need to make a time and come in and check out the space here in Port Melbourne. This space holds every element that you'll possibly need to design your dream home.
Yeah, look, a lot of our projects have been design and construct, so we can take them through from them just starting to think about what their project's going to be. And we find that's a great way to sort of, it's a great start to a successful project.
Yeah, sure.
So you can sort of manage expectations, help guide their vision to reality, and they just have one point of contact.
Yeah.
And if you got a great relationship and you get along really good, then that process is
Just
smooth.
takes a lot of the headaches out. Yeah. So you would call yourself a design and construct builder?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, majority of our work has been that over the years. Just naturally, that sort of seemed to have worked for us. We have built other people's plans quite a few times, but and they've been great projects as well. But we just find that clients sort of almost come to us before they've even gone too far down the design track.
Yep. I already know the answer to this because we've been having a few chats off air, and we actually were mountain bike riding on Saturday beforehand anyway. But you've got a designer that you work regularly with that is now, sounds like he's retiring. So that would be your process normally, is you've got a regular designer. The client would generally come to you guys first, and you would kind of give them the whole prelim package?
Yeah, if they come to us first, I mean, we've worked out our designer for, the whole 11 years we've been building.
The same designer for 11 years?
Even prior that, when we did a few developments with some other builders, we still had our same designer design those developments up for us. So we've had a long-standing relationship, which is great because we know how each other operates and the end goal and all that sort of stuff. They'd come to us, and I sort of you have their first meeting to sort of get a bit of a brief and get to know each other, and then we just guide the process from there.
Yeah. What would you say, is there anything that you guys do that you feel is a bit unique compared to any other builder in Adelaide? What separates SV Built?
I mean, I suppose everyone's a bit different. We definitely value our relationship with our clients. That's always seems to be number one. And then I suppose from day one has been uncompromised quality. Like if something's not right, we don't sleep till it's sorted. So I mean,
the client kind of, they become part of the family, really, don't they? Because it's such a long process, particularly if, like your process, you're involved through the design as well. Like that design process could take anywhere. Like we've found the average lately is minimum 12 months from initial consultation to get through design. And I'm talking minimum, plus the build on that. Like you might be with these people for like 2, 3, 4, who knows, 5 years sometimes.
Yeah, like 2 years definitely.
Actually, didn't you say you've got a project that you've got, it's been being built for 3 years?
Yeah, we've got a reno that, I mean, I've known this. So I built another couple of houses for this client prior, and then we've been renoing his house, and we've sort of staged reno. And it's a massive job, massive house, difficult site. It's on, I don't know, it must be like 10 metres slope from the bottom to the top or something.
Wow. Over how far?
Yeah, like from the road, it'd have to be 10 metres up towards the house. And then
how deep's the block though? Or you mean it drops straight down?
Like that'd be elevation, 10 metres of elevation. Yeah. So it's a steep drive. Like it was funny, we had to make sure we graded the driveway perfectly to get his cars up and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've known that client for 6 years or something now.
Yep.
And that job's been going for 3 years.
Yep.
Not because we're slow, just because how we've staged it to suit his requirements.
Yep.
But yeah, like I still catch up with all my past clients, really. Like one of them, I mean, throughout the build, one was offering to babysit my kids all the time. And,
No way.
yeah, and then she's not too far. Like that family's not too far away from us, so we see them on the beach. We're walking the dogs.
Yeah.
A lot of close relationships that we still catch up with them all today. Like Christmas time, we always catch up.
Yeah.
Try to get a coffee during the year. And
Yep.
see how everyone's going.
Well, mate.
And a lot of repeat clients as well. Like another family that I've built 3 houses for now. So yeah, they're pretty good relationships.
Well, take that one in your stride, mate. That's a testament to the work that you put in and the relationship. That's an absolute pleasure to hear. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That a client offered to babysit. That's a
Yeah.
new one. I haven't heard that one yet.
No, it's
Oh.
pretty cool.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Build Insight podcast. That was part 1 with Emile from SV Built. Tune in next week for part 2.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to find out more about Build Insight, head over to the website buildinsite.com.au. Over on the website, you'll find links to previous podcast episodes as well as our YouTube channel, Instagram and Facebook. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.
Well, that's a wrap for another week's episode of the Build Insight podcast. Before we leave, just want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors for their ongoing support. Without their help, Build Insight wouldn't be what it is today.
Let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insight team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insight podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.